everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Homestead in a Box. My name is Leah and I'm super grateful to have you here today. It's been a few weeks since I've recorded a video, but just took a little bit of time off. It's been cold, so it's not hard to create content, but I mean, it's the same thing growing. There's still spinach and collards and mustards and things like that growing, and they're just slow growing because there's not a whole lot of sun right now. But we're like, 39 days, I believe, right now away from the first day of spring. So that means seed starting, early spring garden, all the things. And so in today's video, we're going to talk about how to start onions from seed at home. If you've been hanging out for a while, I'm a firm believer that if you want to start gardening, start with the things that you eat. And some of the easiest things to grow is garlic, potatoes, onions, carrots. A lot of people would argue with me on the carrot one, but I am going to have a video on how to grow carrots from seed coming out soon. So I think that everyone should grow those basic things. They don't require a lot of room. You can grow them in containers. You can grow them in pretty much anything that can hold soil and drain water. And so today, something that we use a lot at our house is onions. So I want to talk to you about how to grow onions from seed and show you just how easy it is, and hopefully encourage you to go out, grab a pack of onions, put them in some soil and grow your own onions so you can experience what it's like to just go into your pantry or into your laundry room, grab an onion that you grew yourself and use in your dinner. One of the first things that you're going to want to do is gather something that you can put some soil in and that you can start your onion seeds in. I'm starting a whole flat of onion seeds because I'm starting a lot of onions this year. Last year I grew 81 onion and we needed 81 onions, and we needed more. So this year I'm doubling the amount of onions that we grew last year, and so I'm going to start this whole flat of onions. A few of the varieties that I'm starting is a white sweet Spanish, a red October. Also, just total transparency, these seeds I bought off of Amazon from the it's a small store on Amazon. It's Gardener's Basics, but that's where I bought these onion seed. There's been enough seed. This is my third flat of starting seed of the different varieties. So white sweet Spanish, red October, a red Creole, a yellow sweet Spanish, a Texas early grande, and then a Walla Walla. So all of these came from the same store, like I said, on Amazon. You don't have to buy seeds from big fancy stores or anything like that. And I have found that some Amazon stores I don't buy from anymore because the germination rate isn't good, but Seeds Needs and then this Gardener Basics on Amazon, those are really two good stores that I have a really good germination with. Like I said, I bought all of these onions together, and this is my third flat of onion that I'm seeding from these packages. So it's definitely, you get your money's worth. So on the back of these packages, it tells you how deep to plant your onions, things like that. Because I am growing so many, there's not any in particular way. If you're growing in something smaller, I highly suggest, if you have a seed that has a good germination rate, to be conservative of your seeds, because onion seeds they're pretty decent size to work with, and so you know how many you're putting in each square. So for me, these are 6-cell flats. Onions, you plant them 1/4 of an inch deep, so not very deep at all. Just kind of push them in, and I'm doing probably three or four seeds per flat, and just kind of sticking them throughout each little square. 1, 2, 3, and then just covering those up. The back of your seed pack will pretty much tell you everything that you need to know when it comes to growing your seeds. And y'all, if it doesn't, I'm going to tell you, one of the ways I learned that I have learned about gardening is from Google. You know, I just type it in and I learn from where somebody else is out there willing to teach. You know, so if there's something that you're stuck on, whip out that cell phone that's attached to everybody and type it into the Google search bar, and you can probably find your answer there. So white sweet Spanish, I'm just going to continue finish sowing the rest of these onions in this flat. And then so a couple things to keep in mind about onions is after you get all of your seeds planted, you want to keep them moist. So make sure you have a spray bottle, something just as simple as this. Don't let your seedlings dry out. So I'm going to finish seeding out the rest of this tray real quick, and then we'll move on to what comes next. Alright, so after you get all of your onions seeded, you're going to want to make sure that you label them. That way you know what is what. If you're like me, truthfully, sometimes I don't ever label them because I'm just planting them. Some people like, you know, some people like a little bit more organized gardening than the way that I do, but I enjoy a little bit of chaos tossed in. So after you get your onions seeded, you're gonna, like I said, make sure you follow the back of the package of what you're growing. Most onions, from the time that you put them in the ground, they take like 100 days. So right now here in Oklahoma, I'm in southeastern Oklahoma, you still have plenty of time right now to start onions. In fact, I hope by the end of this video, I encourage you to go out and to hop on the internet and order you a pack of onion seeds and get some started for you and your family. Like I said earlier, it's one of the easiest things that you can grow that has a long storage life also. After you harvest them, you can store your own onions for quite a long time, but we'll get into more on that here shortly. So like I said, after you seed your onions, you're gonna wanna water them, moisten them down. Don't let them dry out. Stick them under some grow lights or a south-facing window. I highly suggest grabbing just some grow lights to start all of your seeds from. You can grab an affordable grow light for, you know, $12, $14, $15, again, from Walmart, Amazon, places like that. You don't have to have a grow light, but you're liable to have a lot more success if you do have a grow light. So here's these. You're gonna put these under some grow lights, let them sit for probably about close to 6 weeks, and then I'll show you what you're gonna have after 6 weeks. All right, so after that 6 to 8 weeks under the grow lights, consistently growing, doing all the things, you're gonna have onions. These are onions that I started. I started these end of December, 1st of January, and we are going to plant these out in the garden. So after 6 to 8 weeks, after you have your onions and they get about this length, you're gonna spend probably about a week hardening them off. I'll explain what hardening them off means once we get over here, and then you're gonna plant them in the soil. So y'all, let's go get these onions planted in my garden. I have my onions over here, and I have already decided what side of my garden I'm going to plant them in. So considering it is February right now, and these onions are gonna take anywhere from 100 to 115 days, I know that I'm gonna be harvesting them and can still plant things back in the backhand side of this garden bed. So basically I'm just gonna come in and kind of weed my bed, and then I'm gonna get these onions planted. Onions can be planted pretty close together. I plant things pretty close together here in my garden. You guys know I'm a heavy fertilizer. I fertilize heavily on the rabbit manure side. I definitely like to feed my plants well. So I have found that the rabbit manure works wonders. I already have some onions over here in this bed, as you see right here behind me. And so I'm just gonna file these in right here along these here, and just in single file rows, and I'll show you how we're gonna do that. All right, so I have this little handy dandy stick that I use in my garden, and I'm just gonna make me a row right here, all the way down. I think you can see that. And then pop me out an onion, these right here, and then I'm just gonna take them out. Lay them out. I'm gonna take the onions apart, kind of separate them, like you can see the roots here. And then I'm just going to take that, stick it in the soil. Every little root is an onion, so make sure that while you're doing this, sometimes I will this is I'll zoom in here, but this one is not as strong as the others, so sometimes I'm just not gonna plant that. I'm only gonna plant the strongest onions that have grown within this bundle. Alright, so after they're in the house for about 6 to 8 weeks, you're going to want to harden them off and then plant them out. Hardening them off takes about a week or so. It's basically where you're just getting used to them to the temperatures that are outside already, basically. It's super easy to do. It doesn't take long to do it at all. I've ended up having to come over here and come up a little bit taller with these, a little bit higher in my garden bed than I had originally planned. However, it is what it is. Love some onion. I recently wrote a guide. It's the ultimate guide to starting seeds indoors with success. And I'll put a link to that guide down in the description below. But really, it's just a guide of things that I have, tips and tricks I've gathered over the last few years for starting seeds at home. It's a lot, some of the things, it's things that I have said on YouTube videos before, it's things that I've talked about online before, absolutely free, but I've just kind of taken all that information and put it in one spot. The guide is $7.77, so super affordable. If you're looking for something that goes a little bit more in depth with lighting and moisture and temperature, things like that, definitely check out my guide. It's not necessary, like I said. Everything that's in my guide I've talked about on all of my social media before. But some people like to have that in one space, in one spot. So I did create a guide for the people who like to have just kind of like paper, you know, in their hand type thing. It's perfect for that. So after 6 to 8 weeks, you're going to plant these out. You're going to space them 3 to 4 inches apart. Make sure they're moist. You keep them moist after you plant them out. You want the root growth you want the roots to grow really good under the soil. So that's definitely something that you need to keep in mind anytime you're transplanting out. It's an overcast day today. This is a perfect day to plant something out in your garden. These are my onions, 115 days in, and we should be able to come in and harvest them. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me today and just kind of walking this journey with me on how to start onions from seed at home. A lot of the things when it comes to gardening, we overcomplicate it. It doesn't need to be overcomplicated. It is really just that easy as hopping on the internet, running to the store, grabbing a pack of seeds, getting some soil, starting those seeds, 6 to 8 weeks later, planting them out, and then 115 days or so after that, you have onion. It's just that easy. And especially, like I said in the beginning of this video, if I can encourage you to grow one thing at home, I'm going to tell you to pick a staple. And onions and potatoes in most homes are staples, okay? And so those are two of the easiest things that right now, it's mid-February. You have plenty of time to go purchase those things and get them in the ground and grow them to get a successful harvest. Thank you so much for joining me today and going on this onion adventure with me. I am super grateful for each and every single one of you that are here. Hello to all the new people that are here, you guys. I'm so grateful that you're here. I have a lot of videos here that are geared toward gardening and homesteading. A lot of my videos coming up are going to be centered on more or less how-tos. Like this video is how to do onions. My next video is how to grow potatoes in trash bags. So I'm kind of focusing my content on how-tos, because I feel like a lot of people, I kind of cater to the beginning gardener that's out there, you know. Even though I've been doing this for a few years, I'm still catering to that beginning gardener, because I just feel like all beginning gardeners need someone like me to teach them from the beginning. So this year, a lot of my content is switching gears to how-to, but don't let that discourage you. We're still gonna have lots of homesteading content. We're fixing to get back into goat milking season. We've got sheep, I'll show that in the next video, and just all the things of spring. So thank you all so much for being here. As always, I am sending you good vibes. Send some good vibes to somebody that you know, and we'll see y'all next time.